Hello everybody and welcome to another amazing video of DIY investing. I'm going to be sharing with you guys one of my favorite altcoins that I've been holding for over 3 years now. This is one of my favorite altcoins because I believe that it solves one of the most important issues inside of our economy, inside of the current crypto ecosystem, and also inside of our centralized databases as well. We are going to see an explosion of growth inside of the crypto economies. There's going to be so much opportunity to make profit, life-changing wealth at everybody's fingertips over the course of the next 3-year uptrend. Over that bull run, I expect this one to be one of the safer as well as one of the better performing altcoins in that entire cycle. So for today's video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly why I think this is profitable, what's in store for it going into this next year, and why we can all make a lot of profit when this market takes off. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and with that being said, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Now before we jump into this altcoin, I did want to quickly talk a little bit about what we're seeing in Bitcoin. I did talk about this exact scenario in my last few videos where we end up hitting this resistance and then we pull back down to retest, roughly this $29,000, $30,000 level. And this $30,000 level approximately takes us all the way back to our bull run. This is where we consolidated on before our blow off top. We even hit this spot in May. And most recently, we've been consolidating below it. This leg up took us right at that resistance, and I believe that this sell-off here is us actually flipping it as support. So even if we come back down a little bit lower, I don't think it really matters. I think that this entire thing is just ultimately going to be a retest, and that's going to set us in for our next leg up that's going to be taking us upwards of about $40,000 to even $48,500, depending on how crazy Bitcoin wants to get. If we come over here and look at the total market cap of crypto, we can actually see that our August high being right here, we broke outside of that. And so this entire sell-off that we're seeing, if we continue to go lower, regardless, doesn't matter once again, all that is a retest of this breakout point. We spent a long period of time consolidating inside of this before our breakout, almost 300 days. And now that we've broken out from that, it's not crazy to see any sort of pullback to retest that level. I wouldn't be surprised if we came back down, retested the very tops of these wicks and the top of the August high, and then that's going to set us in for that next leg up as well. I don't expect that the crypto total market cap will go up as high as Bitcoin. Generally, Bitcoin leads the first leg up, but so far, altcoins have held up a lot better than Bitcoin has, and I've actually been surprised. So we don't fully know what to expect. The big thing here is that we have broken out. Bitcoin looks like it's going to be retesting this level in the same way the total market cap does as well. So I would not be fearing anything. If anything, I would be looking at this as an opportunity to get into the market. Now, one other thought before we get into this altcoin is Bitcoin dominance. This is a real big reason why I want to talk about this altcoin, is because now that we've actually saw this rejection off of the top of this resistance, we're going to see money coming into those altcoins, and we already have. If you're holding altcoins, you've probably noticed a lot of them have been actually holding up better than Bitcoin has, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that Bitcoin dominance has actually topped. We've hit this level once, twice, 3, 4, 5, and now 6 times, and it has produced a rejection every single time. So we've always wondered, are we going to end up, breaking out finally, or is this just going to end up falling lower? When are we going to end up clearing this? Because we have to keep in mind that we still haven't even broken support as well. So we still have been inside of this range for a pretty long given time. At this point, it's hard to say where it's going to go. We don't have any clear direction. I believe long term it breaks down and we have a massive alt run, obviously. But I do think that we could actually come to about the midway point of this range, roughly here, I would say. We could come down to this midway point and then actually get another leg up. And, we have talked about the potential where this comes and breaks out and actually makes one more final high before kind of starting that next bear market all the way back down, which will ultimately fuel alt season for our next cycle. That's still what I'm anticipating, although I don't know if we're going to break the range highs. I don't know if that's going to be the scenario, but I still believe the big picture this goes down. So now that we're at this point where we have actually rejected off this, I'm expecting that at least in the short term, altcoins are going to be running. We should expect to see that happen. And once we hit this midway point, that's going to be where I'm going to anticipate, potential direction change. And if we even, reject from there, we could be looking at a full reversal point all the way back down to this lower support level, just like every single one of these has, which if this thing falls all the way back down to here, that would be a big move in the altcoins nonetheless. Even if this thing holds support for a little while, I still think that that will provide a lot of profit. Now guys, let's talk about this altcoin, why I think that this is so profitable. Let's get into why I think that this is actually going to be doing so well over this next cycle, and give you guys a little bit of insight as to what this project actually is. Now the project on today's video is actually Chainlink. Chainlink is one of my favorite cryptos. I've been holding it for a long time. I really do believe in this one long term. And inside of this cycle, they're actually doing a little bit of an upgrade. Quite a few different things actually. One of those things is actually going to be implementing staking. Through staking, there's going to be governance, and there's going to be a lot of upgrades inside of the ecosystem as a whole. Now for you guys that don't know what Chainlink is actually called an oracle. That's what the definition of what Chainlink is. And what an oracle is, it takes information from Web 2 applications, whether that's Facebook, Gmail, Google, literally anything, any Web 2 application that we use, anything on our phones, think like. It takes information and data from that, and then it's able to actually bridge that over to crypto applications, right? And that's been a problem up to this point. We haven't really had a way to be able to share information from, normal apps that we use in everyday life over to crypto applications. And so through Chainlink, we finally had that way to do that. And one of the reasons we saw Chainlink do so well in the last cycle had everything to do with the fact that this was really the reason DeFi even started. We didn't have a way to share that information. We didn't have price feeds and APIs that we could actually share that data over to these decentralized applications. So the issue was we didn't really have a way to keep track of the prices. So there was no real way that DeFi could exist. Well, once we implemented Chainlink into that equation, then we started to see all of DeFi take off. And I believe that in this next cycle, we're going to continue to see a lot of the same. Now, this is a chart that pretty much explains Chainlink. Just imagine all of this different data. You have centralized exchanges, decentralized exchanges, you have wallets, you have other decentralized protocols, and then you have all of that kind of going into the Chainlink network. And then if you come down here, you even get Web 2 applications, Facebook, Visa, anything that we do in our everyday world, YouTube, Twitter, and then all of that data is actually shared, and then all of that gets implemented into the Web3 space. So it's just a way that we're actually able to connect all of this stuff that we've never really been able to do up to this point. We can see that no matter what the niche is of the market, whether it's a cross-chain smart contract, whether it's centralized finance applications, decentralized finance, Web 2, Web 3, all of this different stuff, all of it can be shared inside of the Chainlink network. And that's what's so powerful about this. Once we get to the point of real adoption, there's going to be a lot of data that actually needs to come through from centralized servers into the decentralized space. And that will be where Chainlink really shines. And I think that this cycle could actually be the one where that happens. So let's talk about the price of Chainlink, get into what we're actually seeing here in the big picture, because this is a beautiful chart. I absolutely love the long-term setup of Chainlink. If we come in here and just look at the bottom formation that we've been in, Chainlink has spent a long period of time just inside of this accumulation pattern. I've seen so many people drawing this that this is just going to break down and fall lower, and it makes me laugh because this has sat here for 341 days now, almost a full calendar year that Chainlink has been consolidating inside of this range. And people think that it's going to break down. I think that's funny, but that's the way it is every cycle. There's a lot of people that end up being bearish at the wrong time, and there's not that many people that end up being bullish at the right time. And so what we're seeing here is a big picture bottom formation, nothing more, nothing less. As we can see, we're getting to the point where, in my opinion, we're going to get ready to actually break out of this resistance. And once we actually clear this high, that's going to be the point where Chainlink fully reverses. Because this is a long-term accumulation pattern, right? This is one of the better looking ones in the entire market. There's very few altcoins that have spent this amount of time just going sideways. What that tells me is there's a lot of money buying this market. And so the second we really clear out of those range highs, I'm expecting Chainlink to go to at least $18, but it wouldn't be the least bit surprised to see $18 all the way upwards of $29, even all the way upwards of $39. It's hard to say. Depending on how hard Bitcoin runs will really fuel the altcoin rises as well. Generally, they don't go up as high as Bitcoin, so I'm not necessarily anticipating it to go to $39, but I'm expecting this thing to build a solid foundation of support like we already have. Once we actually get the breakout of this range, that will create the first higher highs and higher lows of our new bull trend. And so, whether we run up to this resistance, pull back, and have to go through a period of reaccumulation, regardless, I don't think it matters. What I'm expecting over the next year is just for Chainlink to continue to trend Chainlink to build some type of foundation. It's going to have higher highs, it's going to have higher lows, it's going to have these massive sell-offs in between. But overall, that's kind of the way that I anticipate this. I'm not expecting some massive crazy move until sometime 2024, 2025. Probably won't be until sometime after the midway point of 2024 that we start to see that type of stuff. But regardless, right now is an amazing opportunity to be holding or accumulating Chainlink, because I do believe that this next leg up it's taking is where we actually break out of the range high. If we get in here to the shorter time frame and talk about our Elliott wave count, this has a very clear wave count to analyze. Thus far, we've only ever finished a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulse to the upside, and then we did finish an ABC correction back down. So this entire first leg up was only a one wave, right? And so this next leg up is just the beginning stages of wave 3. So this is a wave 1, and now we're inside of wave 3. Now, we're going to look at a minimum target of wave 3 so that we have an idea of how high we have to go before we can actually look for this top. So our minimum target is going to be the 1618. That's where we have to go for this to be a confirmed wave 3. And that would be a perfect level to watch, because that would be taking us out of this resistance. And then for wave 4, it would be setting us up for a retest of those range highs as support before we get one more final 5 wave up to finish that first impulse. But regardless, guys, this is kind of what this early cycle is showing. With this next cycle being a wave 3, it could get more impulsive than what I drew. It could extend past this. Sometimes they go all the way up to the 2618 and even beyond that, depending on how impulsive they get. I would personally be anticipating a move roughly up to about $12.50. Wave 4 to be the point where we retest the range highs, and then wave 5 will take us kind of for that next leg up where we could even run up to $18. That's what I'm going to be watching for Link, but that's what it looks like in the short term. This is a great setup in the big picture as well, because if we come over here and look at Chainlink on a weekly time frame, this is one of my favorite long-term charts, because it's one of the only altcoins that finished and does a 4-year cycle. There is not many altcoins that do 4-year cycles out there. Bitcoin does, obviously, but a lot of altcoins don't follow that trend, and they just end up kind of, following to Bitcoin, but lagging it for the most part, and really not doing a whole lot to the latter 1.5 years of the cycle. Chainlink is really interesting, because if we're looking at a 4-year cycle, remember, we analyze from the peak low of the bear market to the peak low of the bear market, and then that gives us the time in between should be 4 years. And if it is, that's a completion of a 4-year cycle. So 4 years is 1,450 days. We were actually 1,421 days inside of here. So once again, almost perfectly along those lines with a 4-year cycle. If we look at Bitcoin's 4-year cycles, since the last 8 years of its history, it's bottomed at 1,428 days in each of the last two cycles. So this is almost the exact same setup. The only difference here is Bitcoin bottomed at the end of the year and Link bottomed in the summer, right? This is June and this is May. So there is a little difference, and I do find that interesting, but nonetheless, it doesn't really change anything for the matter. It just is still a 4-year cycle. And so I think the big picture, because Chainlink is following this 4-year cycle, it really gives it a lot more validity that this is going to be a crypto that continues to see adoption, because like I stated, there's really not that many cryptos that actually follow 4-year cycles. There's just not that many out there. And a lot of them, like Ethereum even, Ethereum made its lowest low in June, but in the last bear market, it actually bottomed over in the end of the year, being December and January. So, it was even a little bit different. It followed a little bit of a shorter trend than a normal 4-year cycle. So to see Chainlink actually following a closer 4-year cycle than even Ethereum, I thought that was very interesting. Now, a lot of people are going to debate with me and say that this thing is going to just crash. I don't personally believe that. Like I stated, guys, we've been inside of this range for nearly a year at this point, 340 days approximately, depending on what time frame you're at. And so for this to break out, I'm really not going to be the least bit surprised to see this thing go to $18 relatively quickly. Big picture, this is going to continue to rally up in a big way. Overall, I think that with staking being implemented, that gives us a way to secure the network. That gives us everybody a way to actually earn a little bit of yield and earn a profit off of this. It's one of my long-term holds, so I'm just holding it regardless. I would love to be able to earn some yield. Hopefully you don't have to lock away for a long period of time, but depending on what that locking period is and when we can do that, we'll determine my situation on that. But I mean, you guys are definitely not going to want to underestimate the power of oracles, the power of data, how much our information is worth. And with these guys finally, figuring out ways to implement, monetization around that, because that was kind of the problem with Chainlink, is it never really had solid tokenomics, never had a way to capture a lot of this value that it had, all of the dominance it has inside of that market. But through the implementation of what they're doing over the next couple of years, that's where they're trying to actually address a lot of that. And I think that they're going to be able to make that happen. At the very least, I do still think that this is going to be one of the top performing cryptos over this cycle. It is a higher cap crypto, so you got to understand that there is reasonable expectations that you need to have. If we actually come over here and go to CoinGecko, and we come down and look at Chainlink, it's ranked 21, so it's got $4.2 billion in market cap. It's not like you're going to make some, multi-million dollars off this thing going up 1,000x. That's unrealistic. It's sitting at a higher market cap position, so the returns are going to be smaller, but if you're looking for something that's more of a safer pick that is up here in the higher ranks, I don't think that there's too many better bets than buying Chainlink, and I think that what I've shared with you guys so far really gives it a lot more validity as to why that's so. So anyways, guys, if you found value in this, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these updates. If you guys want to join the Discord server, download my free ebook. Links are in the description for that. I just wanted to say I appreciate you guys so much. You all mean the world to me, and I'm so thankful that I'm actually able to do this every single day for you guys. There's a lot of markets that are looking extremely bullish, ready to take off, so if you've made it this far, you're going to be able to make a lot of profit in the process. Just continue to stick to the entirety of the cycle, continue to dollar cost average, focus to the long-term goals that you have, because I can promise you that if you do that, you research, you truly dedicate yourself to the cycle, you will be profitable. It takes a little while. You're not always going to be profitable. Everybody makes mistakes. I've made so many different mistakes over the course of my 7 years in crypto that that at this point all you can really do is laugh at yourself. But at those early times, I remember being really frustrated, not being able to make profit, lose it all back, and it's extremely frustrating to go through that. So just remember, if you've made it through this bear market, even if you lost your butt, whatever the process was for you, it's all a learning process. So the more that you just simply accept it as that, the better off that you're going to be. Don't be too hard on yourself. You've got an entire bull run ahead of us. So if we focus in on that, I think we're all going to be able to make a lot of profit. That's why I want to make these videos. I want to be able to share with you guys my tips, my techniques that I've learned over my 7 years. I'm not a genius. I've just been here for so long that I couldn't help but learn, make so many mistakes. So, if I'm able to just simply help you guys not make as many mistakes as I did, I'll consider that a win. I want you guys to be able to make the most money profitable over the cycle, and I want to be able to give you guys the most high quality videos possible as well. This is a crypto that I really believe in. Wanted to give you guys a little insight as to why. I know a lot of you hold it as well, have been asking me to do some analysis, so here it is. With that being said, thank you all so much for the support. I will catch you in the next one. As always, peace out.